Willow Hill had always been a place of tranquility, its rolling green meadows and ancient willow trees casting long, soothing shadows in the fading light of day. But beneath its serene facade lay a darkness born of tragedy and betrayal. Years ago, in the heart of the hill stood a grand mansion, its once stately walls now weathered and worn. It was here that the incident occurred, a fateful night that would forever stain the land with sorrow. The mansion belonged to the prestigious Hawthorne family, known for their wealth and influence in the small town that nestled at the foot of Willow Hill. Henry Hawthorne, the patriarch, was a stern man with a reputation for his ruthless business dealings. His wife, Eleanor, was a delicate creature, her beauty marred by the sadness that seemed to haunt her every step. Their daughter, Margaret, was the jewel of the Hawthorne family, her beauty and grace the talk of the town. But it was her younger sister, Sarah, who was the true heart of the family, a wild spirit with a fierce loyalty to those she loved. It was on a moonlit night in late autumn that tragedy struck. The Hawthorne mansion was alive with music and laughter, the air filled with the sweet scent of roses. The occasion was Margaret's engagement party, a lavish affair attended by the town's elite. Among the guests was Thomas Reed, a handsome young man with a charming smile and a silver tongue. He had caught Margaret's eye from the moment they met, and it wasn't long before they were inseparable. But as the night wore on and the champagne flowed freely, Thomas's eyes began to wander. It was Sarah who caught his attention, her fiery spirit and quick wit a stark contrast to Margaret's demure demeanor. In a moment of drunken recklessness, Thomas made a pass at Sarah, his words filled with promises he had no intention of keeping. Sarah, outraged and betrayed, spurned his advances, her anger burning bright in the dark of the night. But Thomas was not one to be denied. Fueled by pride and alcohol, he followed Sarah into the gardens, his intentions darkening with each step. It was there, beneath the ancient willow tree that stood at the heart of Willow Hill, that the incident occurred. The details were hazy in the aftermath. A struggle, a scream, the sound of breaking glass. When the servants found them, Sarah was crumpled on the ground, her eyes wide with terror, her dress torn and bloodied. Thomas, his face twisted with rage and guilt, stood over her, a broken bottle clutched in his hand. The scandal rocked the town to its core. Thomas Reed was arrested and charged with assault, his once promising future now tarnished beyond repair. Sarah, her spirit broken and her body scarred, retreated from the world, her laughter silenced forever. But the darkness that had been unleashed that night was far from finished. After years passed and Willow Hill fell into disrepair, the once grand mansion crumbled, its halls echoing with the whispers of the past. The townsfolk avoided the hill, their superstitions keeping them far from its haunted grounds. But one night, a group of reckless teenagers dared each other to spend the night in the abandoned mansion. Drawn by the allure of forbidden thrills, they crept through the broken gates and into the heart of Willow Hill. Among them was Jenny, a bold and fearless girl with a penchant for danger. Her friends, Mike, Lisa, and Ben, followed her lead, their laughter ringing through the empty halls. As the night wore on and the darkness deepened, a chill settled over the mansion. Shadows danced along the walls and whispers echoed through the corridors. Jenny, undaunted by the eerie atmosphere, led her friends deeper into the mansion, her curiosity piqued by the sense of foreboding that hung in the air. It was in the grand ballroom that they found it, a dusty old portrait hidden beneath a tattered sheet. With trembling hands, Jenny pulled back the covering, revealing the haunting image of Sarah Hawthorne, her eyes filled with sorrow and rage. As they stared at the portrait in stunned silence, a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the flickering candlelight. The air grew thick with the scent of roses, and a voice whispered through the darkness. "Leave this place," it hissed, the words filled with malice. But Jenny, ever the fearless one, laughed in defiance. "Who are you to tell us what to do?" The answer came in a sudden gust of wind that sent the portrait crashing to the ground. In the darkness, they heard the sound of footsteps, a slow, deliberate approach that filled them with dread. They ran then, their hearts pounding in their chests as they raced through the mansion, the specter of Sarah Hawthorne hot on their heels. One by one they fell, their screams echoing through the empty halls as Sarah exacted her revenge. Mike was found the next morning, his body twisted and broken at the foot of the stairs. Lisa was never seen again, her disappearance a mystery that haunted the town for years to come. Only Jenny and Ben made it out alive, their minds shattered by the horrors they had witnessed. And so the legend of Willow Hill grew, a cautionary tale whispered by the townsfolk on dark and stormy nights. They say that Sarah Hawthorne still wanders the halls of the abandoned mansion, her spirit restless and vengeful, her laughter echoing through the empty rooms. Years passed and the legend of Willow Hill became a distant memory, relegated to the realm of ghost stories and children's tales. But the darkness that had been unleashed that night remained, a malevolent force that waited patiently for its next victims. Decades later, the town of Willow Creek had flourished, its quaint streets bustling with life once more. The old mansion on Willow Hill had become nothing more than a crumbling ruin, its tragic history all but forgotten by the townsfolk. But for one family, the Hawthorns, the memory of that fateful night had never faded. Henry Hawthorne had long since passed away, his once powerful empire reduced to dust. Margaret, now an elderly woman, lived out her days in a quiet nursing home, her mind clouded with the horrors of the past. It was Margaret's granddaughter, Emily, who felt the pull of Willow Hill most keenly. Drawn by a sense of curiosity and a desire to uncover the truth of her family's history, she embarked on a journey to the abandoned mansion, her heart pounding with trepidation. Accompanying her were her friends, Alex, Sarah, and Mark. They had heard the stories of Willow Hill, the haunted mansion that stood as a silent sentinel on the hilltop, and they were eager to experience the thrill of the unknown. As they approached the mansion, Emily felt a chill run down her spine. The air seemed to grow colder, and the once peaceful meadows of Willow Hill now felt suffused with a sense of unease. Undeterred, Emily led her friends through the broken gates and into the mansion, their footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Dust danced in the air, and the faint scent of roses,